enemy plane! See it?
What is going on, guys? The Broken Machine here. Today I'm bringing you guys a short guide to help you improve your reactions in Battlefield 1. Quick reactions aren't everything in Battlefield, of course, so don't worry if you're not super fast or don't have those twitch aim capabilities. Good positioning is way more important, and that is a topic I'll be covering later this week in my How to Predict Your Opponent's series of videos. Make sure you stick around to check out those. Before we get into the tips, let's do a quick benchmark test to see where we are currently at. Head over to HumanBenchmark.com, click the reaction time test, click the blue box when you're ready. When it changes to green, click anywhere in the box as quickly as you can. Do this 5 times and see what your average score is. You can do this test on PC via a web browser or through the PlayStation 4's web browser. I don't know about Xbox, but I'm sure it has something similar. You will most likely get a much faster time on PC with a mouse and keyboard than a controller, so keep that in mind when you're watching these results on screen. On a good day, I can achieve under 250 on PC. On console, anything below 300 I'm pretty happy with. This is a great tool that I use daily before each gaming session. It only takes like 20 seconds. Just bookmark the page, have a quick go, quick little warm up, give it a go yourself and let me know what you think of it. Unfortunately though, Battlefield isn't as easy as this test is. You have a much larger screen space to consider and multiple areas where your opponents can come from, which can result in much slower reaction times. So to combat this, we must train our eyes to focus on the areas where our enemies are likely to come from, and to do that, we must filter down the visual space in front of us down to the only possible locations where our enemies can come from. This is a fairly straightforward task in smaller areas like the bunkers on Argonne Forest. In this situation here, enemies can only come left or right, so there's no need to focus anywhere else on the screen, only on the corridor and the left and right side. Now you only have 2 spots on your screen where you need to scan for enemies. So here, with less screen area to react to and process in your head, you could potentially react much faster to your opponents appearing in front of you if you keep this in mind. Larger areas are a little trickier, but the same technique still applies. Imagine you're here on Edward Flag on St. Quentin's Scar, and you're looking for a target who is capturing the flag. Let's think where they could be or where they could come from. Well, they can't be here on the ground, they can't be in the sky, so they've got to be in one of these buildings. So we've filtered the area down very quickly to the only possible locations the enemy could be. We could go further if we wanted, leaving only doors and windows, but can you see the point that I'm making here? You have a ton of visual information that you don't particularly need to focus on. So by filtering down this space in front of you to the only possible locations your enemy can come from, when they do appear, you could potentially react much faster. Of course though, in this situation, this is quite a large area to cover. You would need to move from building to building rather than approaching your enemy from the open area, but the thinking here and the approach is what's important. That filtering out all of the unnecessary information is key to reacting faster. That is the point that I'm trying to make here. So if this sounds a little bit too complicated and you're thinking, but there's other maps, there's other stuff going on, try and use this little cheat guide. So when you join a game, you would blank out the sky, then the ground, then think entrances, exits, sides of buildings. Repeat this as you're going along throughout your games, and eventually you'll just get it. It's just a way of thinking about what's in front of you that will enable you to process what's going on in front of you much quicker, and therefore when an enemy does appear, you're likely to react faster. It's really that simple. There is obviously, more to enemy prediction, but if you can start there, you'll react much faster and you'll be able to predict your enemies much more easily. So give it a go. There is also another simple technique to help you react and fire quicker with the triggers on a controller. It does apply to mouse and keyboard as well, but controllers, you have to push down the buttons just a little bit because they're not quite as responsive. If you pick up your controller, you'll notice if you press the triggers down gently, they have a little bit of a give before the game responds. So to get those faster reactions and hopefully aim down sight and fire before your enemy does, you need to just be gently pushing down on these triggers all the time. Not doing this could be the difference between winning or losing a gunfight, especially against the more experienced and higher skilled players out there. This is something I do all the time, and it definitely gives me the edge against my opponents. Give it a go yourself and let me know how that works for you. How far you sit away from your screen could also have an effect on your reaction times. I play on a 24-inch monitor, approximately 2 feet or 60 centimeters away from the screen, maybe up to 3 feet if I'm just chilling out. Too close to your monitor or TV and you could miss enemies on the sides of your screen. Too far and enemies in the distance will be difficult to see. So have a play with the distance between you and your monitor and TV and see if you're perhaps sitting too far away or maybe sitting too close. When it comes to monitors, bigger is definitely not better in my opinion. Of course the big screens look nice, but on a smaller monitor your reactions will definitely be much quicker. I use the BenQ XL2411Z as my main monitor and the BenQ RL2455HM as my second. I would recommend either. The former if you wish to play on PC at 144Hz refresh rates. You don't need that one for console though, although it is pretty nice. Links for those two are in the description if you want to check them out. I think they've been rebranded as BenQ Zowie now. No difference as far as I'm aware, just rebranding for esports. I'm not sponsored by them at all, I just want to put that out there. These are just two really high rated monitors. The second one was used in official MLG Pro tournaments, Call of Duty and stuff like that, so they are pretty decent monitors. So if you're ever thinking about getting a monitor, those two I would highly recommend. But if you don't have a monitor and you're playing on a TV, ensure your picture mode is set to game. Other settings may look prettier, but they are adding additional unnecessary input lag. Input lag is the delay between the signal being received from your console and it being displayed on your screen. So you want to reduce this as much as possible. The input lag on the monitors I use, I believe, are around 10 milliseconds. It may not seem much on paper, but once you notice it, you'll want to reduce it. For me, on FPS games at least, I just can't go back to big TVs and huge input lag. When you become aware of input lag, it's just horrible going back. It's like, have you ever been to a friend's house and you play on their console, on their TV, and it doesn't feel right, it feels clunky. That's probably input lag. You've probably experienced it at some point. Many of you may not even be aware of it, but it can have a huge effect on your aim and your reaction speed. One last tip, if you're aiming down sight, wiggle your aim a little now and then. Often you can lose focus and a quick little adjustment will bring you back. You've probably experienced this when staring at a corner and suddenly an enemy appears and you get caught off guard. You've probably complained of lag, but no, it can often be because you've lost focus, so try and stay refreshed, try and stay alert, wiggle a little bit, it doesn't take much effort. Do this with your eyes too. Rather than focus on the crosshair, try and drift your attention within a small area around the crosshair itself. And that is all for this video, guys. Some very simple tips, but I'm sure they'll help. If you are thinking about getting a monitor at some point, definitely recommend those that I've suggested, and they are the ones I use. And well, you can see my gameplay, so they must be doing pretty well for me. So yes, I hope these help. Let me know if they do. Shortly, I'll be doing a guide on predicting your opponents. Filtering down the map visually will certainly help out with that, so highly recommend you try that tip out. And if you're not too sure what I was talking about there, or maybe I didn't explain it enough, then please let me know in the comments below. Good luck, and thank you very much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy, guys. Catch you later.